Tonight, South Australian health officials on edge over a COVID scare, and drivers urged to stay safe on the roads this long weekend.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. South Australia is dealing with one new case of COVID-19, a truck driver who travels between our state and Victoria. Meanwhile, there are concerns from the Nurses Union that the state's health system won't cope with an outbreak.
Another new concern for the state's health authorities. A truck driver based in Adelaide, now South Australia's newest case of COVID-19.
He's actually now in Victoria, and so he's needing to comply with the Victorian Health Department's guidelines. 5
new places of concern identified, mostly truck stops near Adelaide. His closest family all tested negative. The driver already had 1 dose of the vaccine.
I'm very hopeful that we won't have any community transmission as a result of this.
The scare comes as residents are urged to get vaccinated as soon as possible. In more positive news, an important milestone was reached today, with half of South Australians now receiving both doses of the vaccine. However, those in the medical field are still concerned if the state's health system can handle an outbreak.
There are significant concerns and issues with provision of safe and appropriate care to the community, and in particular missed and delayed care.
The Nurses Union calling for more beds to alleviate the pressure, hiring more graduate nurses, and to ensure non-COVID patients can still be treated.
The reality is that the system is already overwhelmed and swamped, and this is an issue that existed before COVID.
Meanwhile, the far west of New South Wales recorded 7 new cases overnight. All were located in Broken Hill, that outbreak now numbering more than 100. Statewide, there were 864 new cases and 15 deaths in the same period. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Golf News.
South Australia Police and the RAA are urging motorists to take care on the roads this long weekend. It comes as SAPOL launches Operation High Impact, targeting poor driver behaviour on our state's roads throughout October.
Police out in force this long weekend as South Australian holidaymakers hit the road. They are warning serious measures will be taken against motorists who choose to ignore the severity of the fatal 5.
Stick to the speed limit, don't drink or drug drive, make sure everyone in your vehicle is wearing a seatbelt and drive to the conditions. And if you feel tired, pull over and take a rest.
Police taking a no tolerance policy when it comes to driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
There'll be extra patrols, there'll be extra driver testing stations. Remember that every police vehicle is a mobile breath testing station, and we'll be testing as many drivers as we possibly can.
The state's peak motoring body urging motorists to drive to the conditions and pull over if the weather is too bad for driving.
Particular issues just to be mindful of. Obviously, the weather conditions are a bit unfortunate at the moment. We've got rain happening today. There's rain also forecast on Sunday and Monday.
SAPOL today launching Operation High Impact. They're aiming to increase driver awareness of road trauma and the impact the fatal 5 can have on families and communities.
We are conducting a month-long traffic campaign that will kick off from tonight. So motorists be warned that we are out there looking at driver behaviour.
71 lives have so far been lost on our roads this year, a number which was not reached until the end of October in 2020. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Pirie Police are thanking the local community for their assistance following a series of recent break-ins and thefts in the city. A local man has been charged over the incident. Our reporter Katrina Musson has the story.
A 42-year-old Port Pirie man has been arrested and charged with a string of offences following recent break-ins and thefts in Solomon Town. Bevan O'Bonnor is facing multiple charges relating to incidents in the city. It follows a police investigation into a series of thefts from a Feely Street property throughout September, where amounts of copper and other metals were allegedly stolen. Police allege on September 20, 2 men were disturbed, loading copper piping into a vehicle on the Spencer Highway. Then, just before 10:30 in the morning on September 23, police responded to reports of a man seen entering the same business premises on Feely Street. It's alleged officers chased the man on foot and, with the assistance of a member of the public, was able to apprehend him at a nearby house.
And on his arrest then searched his home address and located some stolen property.
Senior Sergeant Andrea Wilson has thanked the community for their assistance, encouraging people to report suspicious activity to the police assistance line. She's also reminding residents there are simple things they can do around their home to protect their property.
We also encourage them to secure their property. If property is secured, then it's less likely to be stolen.
Mr O'Bonnor fronted court yesterday where he was remanded in custody. He will appear in the Port Pire Magistrates Court in November.
With several recent sightings of seals and sea lions on Eyre Peninsula jetties and beaches, onlookers are being reminded to keep their distance. Reports of the animals in Port Lincoln, Tumby Bay and Coffin Bay has prompted the warning from the Environment Department. National Parks and Wildlife says seals come to shore to rest after spending time hunting out at sea. People are urged to keep a safe distance of 30 metres from the curious animals. Still to come tonight, Port Pirie's fishing ban the focus of a local meeting. And hay fever and asthma sufferers urged to be ready for the pollen season. Welcome back. The Port Pire fishing ban has been a topic of frustration and concern for the past 12 months. Now, having been further extended, government agencies, councils and members of the Anglers Club met yesterday to discuss a way forward.
Local anglers hooked on finding a solution.
We've got all the people to talk to now, and they're willing to seek information from us and the community on how to bring outcomes forward.
A meeting held in Port Pire yesterday outlined why the fishing ban has been extended for a further 12 months. Officials say certain areas are still a major concern.
Zone 1, I don't think there's any hope at all. It is just too contaminated, and Zone 2 is the one we need to think a little bit more broadly about, and that's what we're trying to understand.
SA Health's Dr David Simons says the data received is not surprising.
If marine organisms grow in a contaminated environment, their flesh becomes contaminated, and if anyone consumes those organisms, they'll be also be exposed to those toxins.
There's two heavy metals of concern: lead, which residents are no stranger to, while the other is cadmium.
It is an issue in that environment, in the marine environment, so it's a new metal. And we've had to get our head around that.
Education, a key focus.
We've got to educate our children so they can take it home and educate their mums and dads of what is actually going on here.
Also spoke about, signage and what sort of signage would work, but they understand in terms of where they can go to fish and where they can fish safely in terms of taking fish home.
Mayor Leon Stevens confident the issue will be resolved.
We need to stop talking and start acting, and I think that's where we're heading today.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Snake catchers are warning Broken Hill could be in for a slippery summer, expecting higher populations of reptiles this season. While it's a frightening thought, handlers say it's a positive sign for the region's snake population, which had been declining.
In every corner of town and a handful of different species, it's clear snake season has arrived in Broken Hill.
That's how spring sort of works for us, so people are doing their spring gardening out in the yard, they're waking things up that are still trying to sleep in.
Local catchers have had around 6 call-outs since the start of September, and a frightening call just last week. A 10-year-old boy bitten multiple times by a western brown snake, thankfully not injured. As they come out of hibernation, recent rain could mean more food for snakes and an increase in local population.
We've had snake numbers decrease for quite a few years now due to the drought, so it'd be good to see their populations start to build back up, especially out bush, not so much in town.
That may be a scary thought for some, but catchers are repeating the mantra, snakes are more scared of us than we are of them, posting this video showing a move which many would perceive to be aggressive, but the snake only used to create an exit.
Then she immediately turns and heads off in a direction that she perceives to be safe. And that's all they're thinking is my life in danger? And if they don't feel like their life is in danger, they won't act accordingly.
The message, as always, is to leave reptiles alone, but keep an eye on them until snake catchers arrive.
Leave it alone. Snakes aren't going to chase you, and they will move on their own accord.
Lachlan Ittis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Our region's asthma and allergy sufferers are being urged to be ready, with peak hay fever season officially starting today. Running from October until the end of December, experts say red noses and runny eyes will become much more common.
Our region's weather is starting to warm up, but with that comes the potential for allergies to also make an appearance. Hay fever strong enough to send sufferers back inside.
Pretty much this time of year, if you've got a grass or ryegrass allergy, you're probably going to notice that your symptoms of hay fever and allergic rhinitis are worse.
Professor Walk says while pollens go up every spring, some factors can make the season more irritable. Bureau of Meteorology figures predicting that this year's rainfall will lead to above average grass growth, creating more pollen.
So you have a great year with lots of rain, you can get a bit of an explosion in terms of grass pollen and things like that.
He says people with asthma should regularly check grass pollen counts for the region and avoid exposure on high-risk days. They're also reminded to take their inhaler medicine wherever they go. But for those with just hay fever, an over-the-counter nasal spray should do the trick.
The best way to treat allergic rhinitis, again, is to use a regular preventer agent to settle down the inflammation, in this case in your nose.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whyalla residents will see new garbage trucks roaming around the city from today. Veolia, which operates the city's waste transfer facility, has been named as the new contractor for curbside waste collection. They will take over from Cleanaway, which had held the contract in the Steel City since 2014. Council says there will be no major change to service for customers, with pickup days, routes and alternating collection cycles remaining the same. Stay with us. Port Augusta in the middle of a development blitz, and Port Lincoln's Probus community comes together to celebrate the organisation. Port Augusta Council is getting excited by a number of key developments coming to the city, ranging from motel and retail developments to large-scale solar and pumped hydro projects. The city's mayor is confident new jobs are on the way.
Port Augusta is carving the way for a stream of new businesses to flow through the city. The council's quarterly report revealing a list of major up-and-coming developments in the district. 49 are before the council, with 14 of them worth more than $5 million.
As the mayor of this city, I'm very proud of what we've achieved at the moment. It's not luck. There's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes to make these things be achieved.
The combined value of these large-scale developments is estimated at $3.3 billion.
This is an amazing time for Port Augusta. It's very active. There's creating a lot more opportunities, and hope some of these other 49 will give us some long-term activity and employment.
Mayor BENBOW says he is excited at the prospect of one of the new developments growing large enough to fill the void left by the closure of the historic power station. He says while the city has seen new businesses come to town after it was decommissioned in May of 2016, they haven't provided the same level of long-term employment.
But look, I think it's just fantastic activity occurring in Port Augusta in projects and so forth. There's another 49 in the background waiting to get development approval.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Spencer Golf residents are urged to open their hearts next week when the RSPCA launches the Give to Get Them Home campaign. Donations raised from next Thursday's event will be matched by the organisation's corporate supporters.
making sure our furry friends are taken care of while they wait to be adopted. The RSPCA holding the Give to Get Them Home campaign, where donations will be matched by corporate partners.
If you're going to make any donation to the RSPCA, next Thursday is the day to do it, because every donation for 24 hours will be doubled.
There are currently more than 500 animals under the care of RSPCA volunteers and foster homes across the state. Of those rehomed, more than 150 were from the Whyalla shelter.
We've got about 26 animals in there at the moment, mainly cats, but also some dogs and puppies and a chook, and some of those are seeking new homes now too.
Companies which have pledged to match donations this year include Peter Alexander, Elanco and Carmex. The money will go towards the care of the animals, which includes surgery and behaviour training.
A lot of people don't realise that we receive no government funding for any of our animal care and rescue work. The government funding we receive is solely to partially cover the costs of our inspectorate.
More information can be found on the RSPCA's website. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Lincoln Combined Probus Club has come together today for an event celebrating World Probus Day. Members say the group provides people the opportunity to meet fellow retirees on a regular basis and keep active.
A different setting for their usual monthly meeting. The Port Lincoln Probus Club putting on a show to celebrate the second ever World Probus Day.
Probus is a communal thing, and we found that it's company with various people with different stories to tell.
The group celebrating the occasion at Puckridge Park, along with members from the Ladies Probus Club. Members not only loving the friendships formed, but the different places around the Eyre Peninsula they've seen.
I sort of love it, it's, all the outings we do too. Yeah, we go to different places.
The Boston Bay Jazz Band had the crowd tapping along. Many of the members have been a part of the group for more than a decade.
We've just enjoyed it, the outings and things, just, a good way of getting around and seeing things.
The meetings offer members the opportunity to hear from a number of speakers.
What I like about it, you go down to the meeting and someone that you've never saw before, he gets up and tells his life story.
The next meeting will be on Friday, November 5 at the Port Lincoln Bowling Club. Whyalla's Probus Club will hold their celebration at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our region has their say on future drought strategies. And we'll have a look at the all-important long weekend weather forecast. Hello again. Our region's agriculture industry has this week shared their thoughts on future drought priorities. The State Drought Hub holding workshops in Port Augusta and Orroroo, with more than 260 people participating. The workshops helping identify the practices, technologies and activities which are needed over the next 3 years. This information helping shape the Hub's activity plan, which will be submitted to the federal government in November. Turning to the weather now, and it was a cool spring day across the region today. From 3 p.m, Whyalla and Port Pirie were 18. Coober Pedy had the region's high of 26. Port Augusta was partly cloudy and 21. Kadina reached 15. And Adelaide had a clearing shower, 16 degrees there. Taking a look at the satellite image now, and cloud over parts of the northeast pastoral with a trough are triggering showers and storms. Cloud streaming into southern SA with southerly winds is feeding into this trough and is causing showers mainly in the southeast. Skies are clear elsewhere with a ridge of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southwesterly winds reaching 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and the swell will be south to southwesterly, less than a metre. A few showers on the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow, Port Lincoln 21, Cleve expecting 27, Woodner 28. Dry and mild in the upper Spencer Gulf. Whyalla partly cloudy and 27. Port Augusta a few degrees warmer, 29 there. Kadina to top 24 degrees. Port Prie will be partly cloudy and 26 tomorrow. Clare will reach 22 and Broken Hill can expect a top of 24. Taking a look further through the week now, and on Sunday Coober Pedy will be sunny and 26. Whyalla will be 24. Woodna partly cloudy and 22. Showers in southern and eastern areas, Port Lincoln and Adelaide 19, Kadina 21. Similar conditions are expected on the public holiday Monday. Western northern areas will be mostly sunny, showers in the south and east. Port Pirie 20, Kadina 18. Port Lincoln just 17. Port Augusta will be 22. And Coober Pedy once again with the region's high, 24 degrees there. The last of those showers will clear by Tuesday. Broken Hill and Whyalla 21. Woodna 25. Port Lincoln and Kadina both partly cloudy and 19. Adelaide 18. And Port Pirie can expect a top of 22. And that's the local news for tonight and the week. Just a reminder, you can follow us on social media at our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube pages. I'm John Hunt, thanks for your company. I'll have updates later, and we will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. Until then, have a safe and wonderful long weekend. Good night.